University of Missouri Healthcare knows you've got better places to be than in a hospital. That's where our world-class technology and highly skilled medical team come in. We get you home sooner. That's important to you and those who wait for you.
Rufus, guess who's home?
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Tuesday, October the 11th. We've got two topics today. Fire Prevention Month, Fire Prevention Week, and the MU Cosmopolitan International Diabetes Center is with us. But first of all, let's start with Debbie Sorrell, Columbia Fire
Hello,
Department.
Paul.
Good to have you here,
Thanks
Debbie.
for having me.
Now, October the 11th today is it?
Fire Prevention Week.
Yeah. And what goes on during Fire Prevention Week with the fire department?
Well, first of all, the week is set aside to memorialize the Great Chicago Fire that happened in 1871.
Is that why it's Fire Prevention Week?
It's always around October the 9th, always around that, to remind people of the loss of life, which was 100 people killed, plus loss of property and things like that. So this is a celebration and a reminder to be fire safe.
Yeah. So when we talk about being fire safe, what is the most important thing that we need to keep in mind besides the smoke detector?
Smoke detectors. One of the main cause of fire here in Columbia and nationwide is unattended cooking. Whether it's your barbecue grill or in the kitchen and you get busy with your spouse or your children or your animals.
That's hard to believe. And the ladies sitting right next to me, they went,
not just Columbia.
Yeah.
That's nationwide too.
Unattended cooking.
Yep. You get busy with other things and come back and your cabinets are on fire.
Now, mainly because of grease fires, not if you put a pot on to boil water.
But it could be for you have a paper towel that the hanger is too close to the burner, or you leave your pot holder close by, or perhaps you store grease on the top of your stove, or you turn on the wrong burner and the kids have left their coloring books up there. So it's not always preparing something good to eat.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's...
And many of these things that you mentioned can happen with us not even realizing
exactly, and it's just continuous. Those weren't things like, oh, let me think of some ideas. You go to those often. You go to those very, very often.
Okay, and then with the students back in school now, candles.
Exactly.
And, well,
candles.
we shouldn't single out just the students, because we all burn candles.
Everybody likes a little smell good sometimes, and they do have different candles that are flameless. They have the fake flame on them, or they flicker and they glitter and they still smell good. But candles, yes, they're always in the top 5. Arson's always in the top 5.
Yeah. Okay.
But we got time to talk about smoke detectors.
Yeah,
we got to make
the
about smoke detectors.
detectors.
Hey, when they came out in early 70s, they cut fire deaths in half, giving us that extra warning. But now almost everybody has one. But less than half of them work.
Yeah, those batteries.
Batteries plus, they're good for 8 to 10 years, and that's it. 8 to 10 years, they're done. Doesn't matter how many times you change those batteries.
Now, if your fire detector, your smoke detector is still beeping, telling you that the battery is run out, does that mean it's still working?
Not necessarily. So if it's chirping,
yeah, it chirps.
Sometimes if it's a hardwired system, that's a self-check it's doing. Chirp.
Mine's a hardwired one, and it chirped last night. I didn't have new batteries for it, and I took my battery out.
How old is the system?
It's 10 years old.
How long do smoke detectors last? Whether they're hardwired or
10 years. Okay.
or smoke detectors.
I'm getting a class on the air here, so I should replace those smoke detectors.
Do that just to make sure that they are working.
All of them.
That they are working.
All of them.
It makes such a difference.
And
Giving
the
us that
fact
extra
that they're
time.
hardwired, it's easy to do. You just plug them out. You unplug them out, plug the new ones in. Okay.
And you can get the serial number and stuff like that information off and order them.
Okay. All right. For more information, Debbie, what's the phone number?
Please give us a call, 573-874-7556, or get on our website.
Okay.
GoColumbiaMo.com.
/fire. Thank you so much.
Paul. Nice to see you.
Always a pleasure to have you here.
You too. Good to see you.
Now, we got the MU Cosmopolitan International Diabetes Center. That is quite a title. Scottie Rawlings and Nancy Palmer, it's a pleasure to have both of you here.
Thank you.
And you're plugging an event that's coming up November the 5th, right?
Yes.
What is it?
Setting the stage for diabetes self-management. We are so excited to put on this symposium, and we have Nicole Johnson, who was the 1999 Miss America.
Oh.
But she has type 1 diabetes.
I've read about her.
Yes.
Yes, she has type 1 diabetes, and
Yes.
she's here to talk about how she is managing it and living with it.
Yes, and how people with diabetes can manage their diabetes.
What's the easiest way to manage diabetes?
There are really 5 steps that are really quite important. Would you like to share those things,
Yes,
Rebecca?
I sure would. Actually, we're going to be having workshop sessions at this symposium, Paul.
Okay.
And so we're going to be talking about monitoring. So monitoring the blood sugar.
Okay.
How often and when. Meal plan. We're going to be discussing meal plan, and we're going to be serving lunch at this, and it's a free event. And
Okay.
so,
And your lunch is going to be very healthy.
Well,
right?
of course, because Miss
You're not
Scottie
going to have
here.
ho-hos and...
Miss Scottie will be planning that. I can't
Okay.
divulge what we're having yet, but we're going to be talking about portions and adding color to the meal plan. We're going to be talking about medications, and we'll probably hone in a lot on taking the medication regularly and where to give the injections, insulin injections, and so forth. Another little workshop we're going to be talking about moods and attitude. Just because sometimes a lot of folks with diabetes have depression and things like that. So we're going to talk about ways that we can sort of overcome and get a positive outlook, and what can you do for your diabetes. And then the last workshop session is going to be on movement. Now we're talking about physical activity there. And so just moving the body in whatever form or fashion, because different people have different levels of, what's the word?
Tolerance for movement or exercise or exertion?
Yes. And so there'll be a variety of ideas that we'll give them in these workshops. So those we call those our 5 M's.
All right, and it is 8:30 in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yes.
Saturday,
Yes.
November the 5th.
Yes.
Now, you're wondering how I know all of this, don't you?
Yes!
I'm reading it off your sheet right now.
Great. But people must register
They got to register. And how do they register?
by calling 573-884-0769.
Yeah, I couldn't read that. That's too small. 573-884-0769.
0769.
Or can they do it online, or do they need to call?
No, need to call.
Okay, give them that number one more time.
573-884-0769.
And operators are standing by right now.
Yes,
You have
they
a bank
are.
of operators.
We do. That's right.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much for coming by. Pleasure
Thank
having you
you.
here.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
good
very
luck
much.
with the symposium. Tomorrow, MU Student Activities and South Farm Showcase. Our program directed by Travis McMillan of the Reynolds Journalism Institute Audio. Pat Akers from KBIA. Our floor director is Eric Stazak. And our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. If you'd like to watch this again, go to kbia.org, click on Radio Friends, and then you can watch it as many times as you want, or you can download a podcast free of charge, or a vodcast. All right? And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.